الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا وقضينا إلى بني إسرائيل في الكتاب لتفسدن في الأرض مرتين ولتعلن علوا كبيرا فإذا جاء وعد أولاهما بعثنا عليكم عبادا لنا أولي بأس شديد فجاسوا خلال الديار وكان وعدا مفعولا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي نستغفر الله ربنا من كل ذنب ونتوب إليه ربنا زدنا علما اللهم يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, so Surah Isra, ayah number 1. So Surah number 17. Surah Al-Isra is called the night journey, and this surah is revealed after Surah Al-Qasas. And in this surah, another name of this surah is Bani Israel, because a lot of the history of Bani Israel is also mentioned here a little bit. And then Isra is a night journey, and what is that? Why is that called night journey? Because in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins talking about the night journey the Prophet ﷺ took from Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis, and then from there he ascended the 7 heavens, and he was shown Jannah, Jahannam, and he was given the gift of Salah. And so a lot of things happen, so that's why this is called Isra, the night journey. And this is a Makki surah, so it was revealed again during the time when the Meccans were persecuting and torturing and ridiculing the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabas. We begin, Subhanalladhi Asra bi'abdihi. Glorious is He, the one who took His servant on a night, in one night, min al-Masjid al-Haram, from Masjid al-Haram, from the sacred Masjid, ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa. Masjid al-Aqsa means the farther mosque, because from Makkah, the farthest mosque that was known was Masjid al-Aqsa. So that is where Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. Alladhi barakna hawlahu. The masjid and the place, alladhi barakna hawlahu, we blessed its surroundings. The place around Masjid al-Aqsa is blessed because most of the prophets came to that region and most of their bodies are buried there. لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا, so that Allah can show him our ayat, our signs. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ, verily He is all hearing and all seeing. So we should know the night journey that the Prophet ﷺ mentions that Jibreel alayhi salam, and the Prophet ﷺ was sleeping near the Kaaba. Jibreel alayhi salam came to him in Buraq. Buraq is this animal kind of creature which is bigger than a mule, smaller than a horse. So he came and he took the Prophet ﷺ. It was a physical journey, right? Because subhanallah asra bi abdihi, with the servant. Bi is used for physically carrying someone. So he took the servant physically from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, and there the Prophet ﷺ, he leads all the prophets in prayers, and then he ascends the 7 heavens. And Jibreel salam takes him, and in the first heaven he sees Adam alayhi salam, and then he sees Zakaria and Yahya alayhi salam. In the second heaven, in the third heaven he sees Isa alayhi salam. In the fourth heaven he sees Idris alayhi salam. In the fifth heaven Harun alayhi salam. In the sixth heaven Musa alayhi salam. And in the seventh heaven he sees Ibrahim alayhi salam. And then he passes, he goes further up, and then he even goes where even Jibreel alayhi salam can come. And there he goes, and then he has a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the night journey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, وَآتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابِ, and we gave Musa alayhi salam the book, وَجَعَلْنَاهُ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيل, and we made that book, Torah, as guidance for Bani Israel, for the children of Israel. أَلَّا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِ وَكِيلًا, that you do not take anybody besides, any guardian or protector besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you know that this is a Makki surah. By telling the the Meccans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by sharing the story of Bani Israel, Allah is telling the Meccans that, look what happened to Bani Israel before, and this will happen to you if you don't accept this message. And you will see what happens and how they were persecuted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing the signs showing the sign of Allah, Prophet ﷺ to Bani Israel, and at the same time warning the Meccans. ذُرِّيَّةَ مَنْ حَمَلْنَا مَعَ نُوحٍ, and you were the progenies from those who were carried by Nuh alayhi salam, with Nuh alayhi salam. إِنَّهُ كَانَ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا, verily he was a servant who was very grateful. The children of Israel were from the progeny of Nuh alayhi salam. وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل, and we decreed on Bani Israel fil kitab, in the book, لَتُفْسِدُنَّ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَّتَيْنِ, that they will be tested, they will cause corruption twice in the land. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you will cause corruption in the land twice. وَلَتَعْلُنَّ عُلُوًا كَبِيرًا, and you will turn arrogant, and you will have عُلُوًا كَبِيرًا, and so you will have a lot of power after. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ أُولَاهُمَا, then when the first promise comes, first of the two comes, بَعَثْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ عِبَادًا لَنَا, we sent against you our servants, أُولِي بَأْسٍ شَدِيد, who had a lot of power, فَجَاسُوا خِلَالَ الدِّيَارِ, and they penetrated every single town. وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا, and that was a promise that was supposed to happen. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Bani Israel that you'll be tested twice. You will disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you'll be punished twice. The first time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we sent our servant. Who this is, we don't know. But Allah, in history, before the Prophet ﷺ, they were persecuted in the hands of some servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they did not take this message seriously. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ba'san Shadid, a severe war. And the same word will be used in Surah Kahf, the next surah. Ba'san Shadid, فَجَاسُوا خِلَالَ الدِّيَارِ, and they went into every homes and destroyed everything they could find. وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا, and that was a promise that was supposed to happen. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَا لَكُمُ الْكَرَّةَ عَلَيْهِمْ, then we gave you another chance. We returned you to that high position and gave you another chance. وَأَمْدَدْنَاكُمْ بِأَمْوَالِ وَبَنِينَ, and we aided you and helped you with wealth and children. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أَكْثَرَ نَفِيرًا, and we made you numerous and we made you powerful in the land. إِنْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ, if you act righteously, if you do good, أَحْسَنْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ, you're doing right things for yourself, for your own benefit. وَإِنْ أَسَأْتُمْ فَلَهَا, but if you act wrong, if you do bad, then it is against you. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ, and when the fulfillment of the second promise, the final promise comes, لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ, when that promise comes, so that they will disfigure your faces. لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ, that second time again they caused corruption, disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's punishment came, and the enemy disfigured their faces. وَلِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدِ, and they entered the masjid, Masjid al-Aqsa, كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ, like the way the people before the first time the enemies entered, أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ, وَلِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, and they destroyed whatever they could get hold of, مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, whatever they had power over. عَسَى رَبُّكُمْ أَن يَرْحَمَكُمْ, perhaps your Lord may have mercy on you. وَإِنْ عُدْتُمْ عُدْنَا, but if you turn back to your ways of disobedience, عُدْنَا, we will also return to it. وَجَعَلْنَا جَهَنَّمَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ حَصِيرًا, and we have made hell for the disbelievers as a hasir, as a place of confinement. So what Allah is saying here is that, look, Bani Israel, they rejected and ridiculed the laws and their messenger, and they were punished twice in history, right, severely. And Allah is telling the Meccans that if you do that with Prophet ﷺ, you will face the same thing. And that will happen to them in this surah. We'll see that. إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ, ayah number 9, Surah Isra. Verily, this is the Quran. يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ, it guides to that which is the most, to the things that are most upright. وَيُبَشِّرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and this Quran gives good news to the believers. الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who do righteous deeds. أَنَّ لَهُمْ أَجْرًا كَبِيرًا, that they will have a great reward. وَأَنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ, and that those people who don't believe in the hereafter, أَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا, and we have prepared a painful punishment for those people, just like Bani Israel in the past. وَيَدْعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِالشَّرِّ دُعَاءَهُ بِالْخَيْرِ, and human beings and man prays for evil like he prays for good. What is this? The Meccans were calling on evil. بِشَرِّ دُعَاءَهُ. They are calling on evil, meaning the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bring the punishment on. So human beings, they call for evil like they call for good. They expect Allah to accept the bad they are asking, like the way He accepts their good du'as. Allah saying, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. And a human being is created, is always hasty and always rushes. So this is a punishment the Meccans demanded. And then so Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ آيَتَيْنِ. And we have made the night and day as signs. Allah is telling human beings, you rush to everything, but look at the night and day, they don't rush into each other. The night takes its time and the day takes its time. And everybody, that's an ayah for you. You human beings should be like the night and day, be patient, and when time comes, things will happen. فَمَحَوْنَا آيَةَ اللَّيْلِ. And we extinguished the sign of the night. وَجَعَلْنَا آيَةَ النَّهَارِ. And we made the sign of the day مُبَصِّرَةً. We made the day as something that can give you visibility. لِتَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. So you can seek the favor of Allah. And then day has been created to seek the favor of Allah for livelihood, for earning. لِتَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ وَلِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ. And He has created the night and day for number of years and also for counting. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَصَّلْنَاهُ تَفْصِيلًا. And everything we have clarified in detail. وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ. And every man will have his deeds attached to his necks. Right? The deeds, our book of deeds will be put on our necks. وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And we will produce to him on the day of judgment كِتَابًا, in the form of a book, يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا. And he will see it open in front of him, unfolded and open in front of him. اقرأ كتابك. Allah will tell the people, you read your book. اقرأ كتابك, read your book. كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. You yourself, you are sufficient as a witness against you today. That you don't need anything else. You read your own book and decide for yourself. Right? All our book of deeds will be placed in our necks. مَنِ اهْتَدَى فَإِنَّمَا يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ. Whoever commits to guidance, then he is guided. Then he only receives guidance for himself. He's benefiting himself only. وَمَنْ ضَلَّ. And whoever strays away from the straight path, فَإِنَّمَا يُضِلُّ عَلَيْهَا. Then that misguidance is only going to harm him. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. No one will carry the burden of another person. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. And we will punish and we will not punish any nation until we send a messenger to it. Right? Until a nation has messenger, unless everybody knows what they have to fear from and what they have to follow, they will not be punished. وَإِذَا أَرَدْنَا أَن نُهْلِكَ قَرْيَةً. And when we intend to destroy a nation, أَمَرْنَا مُتْرَفِيهَا. We command the affluent, the well-to-do, the rich people to guidance. We command them to accept the guidance. فَفَسَقُوا فِيهَا. But when they disobey, فَحَقَّ عَلَيْهَا الْقَوْلِ. Then the punishment becomes mandated on them. فَدَمَّرْنَاهَا تَدْمِيرًا. Then we destroy it completely. Allah is telling again, keep the Quraysh in mind as you're reading these surahs, and that's the context of the surah, that they are persecuting the Prophet as being harmed. Allah is telling the Quraysh, look, we never destroy any nation unless messenger is sent. And number two, how does the punishment come? We tell the rich people, right, to accept. And when they turn away, the affluent ones, when they turn away, then we destroy that nation completely. وَكَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا مِنَ الْقُرُونِ مِنْ بَعْدِ نُوحٍ. And how many nations have we destroyed after Nuh alayhi salam? وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ بِذُنُوبِ عِبَادِهِ خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. And Allah is sufficient for you regarding your sins, regarding the sins of His servant. خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. Allah is fully aware and all-seeing of it. مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْعَاجِلَ. Whoever desires for this worldly life, He's working only for the benefit of his dunya. عَجَّلْنَا لَهُ فِيهَا مَا نَشَاءُ لِمَنْ نُرِيدُ. We will give whatever he wants in this dunya, to whomever we wish. That if you work for this dunya, Allah says, we will give it to you. ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا لَهُ جَهَنَّمَ. Then we will put him in Jahannam. يَصْلَاهَا. He will burn in it. مَذْمُومًا مَدْحُورًا. As cursed and deprived of Allah's mercy. Right? That person who works for this dunya will have nothing in the hereafter. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ. Ayah number 19, Surah Isra. And whoever intends and desires for the hereafter, وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا. That's the key here. That akhirah, whoever desires a reward in the hereafter and strives its due striving. that he works what is required from him for the ajr of the hereafter, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِن, and he is a believer, فَأُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ سَعْيُهُمْ مَشْكُورًا, then those people, their striving is appreciated. Allah appreciates our striving of the hereafter. كُلًّا نُمِدُّ هَؤُلَاءِ وَهَؤُلَاءِ مِنْ عَطَاءِ رَبِّكَ. Each one of them, these are those, whether these from the people of dunya or these people from the people of akhirah. Whichever group you're following or whichever group you're looking into, min ata'i rabbik, will get the bounty of your master. وَمَا كَانَ عَطَاءُ رَبِّكَ مَحْظُورًا, but the bounty of your master is never forbidden, is never rejected. انظُرْ كَيْفَ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Look how we prefer some of them over the others, that some of them are given more than the other. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ أَكْبَرُ دَرَجَاتٍ, but the levels in the hereafter is much better. وَأَكْبَرُ تَفْضِيلًا, and better in reward. So here we see that Allah is saying that some of them Allah has given more than the others. But Allah is saying, like, people have high ranks, high status. Allah is saying the highest thing, highest status should be in the hereafter. You should desire the highest ranks is actually the life of the hereafter. وَأَكْبَرُ تَفْضِيلًا لَا تَجْعَلْ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. Do not set other gods with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَتَقْعُدَ مَذْمُومًا مَخْذُولًا, or else you will be from the blamed and abandoned ones. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ, and your Lord has decreed, has decided that you should not worship anybody except Him. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and with the parents, ihsan. There is not even a fi'l mentioned here. And with the parents, Allah doesn't say do ihsan. And with the parents, excellence. Period. Nothing else. Nothing short of excellence. Ihsan, not justice. We talked about this before. And when it comes to your parents, do ihsan, that you go above and beyond. إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرِ, if one of them, أحدهما أو كلاهما, if old age reaches them, one of them or both of them, if both of your parents or one of your parents reaches an old age, فلا تقل لهما أف, do not say uff to them. Uff is a way of showing discomfort or anger, right? You don't like them. Don't even say uff. That's an expression. And even in old age, Allah is saying you can't say uff. But how about when they're young? When they become old, Allah says this, right? Allah reverses in creation. It becomes difficult to take care of old people than young people. And then because there's so much supervision required. Allah is saying you can't even say uff to them when they get old. And especially when they get old, what's happening to the kids? They grow, they have their own family. So there's a thing about taking care of your family versus taking care of your parents. Allah is saying, be extra careful with your parents, especially when they get old. وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا, do not drive them, do not scold them or turn away in anger. وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا, and say to them words of generosity, words, noble words. And kareem is used for, when you speak to kings and queens. Imagine you have someone, a king or queen. How do you speak to the king and the queen? Right? The way you speak, the way you act towards them, it's very different. Allah is saying you have to speak the same way to your parents and act and deal with them like they are kings and queens. قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا, that they are highest. وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ, and lower your wings out of humbleness, out of kindness towards them. What does it mean? Lower your shoulders. Right? Wings means lowering your shoulders, that humbling yourself, that you can raise your voice, you should not even look at them. Right? Lower your voice and be humble. جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ, and bow down. وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا, and say, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا, my master, have mercy on both of them. كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا, right? Like the way they took care of me when I was young. رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا فِي نُفُوسِكُمْ, your Lord knows what is inside yourself. إِن تَكُونُوا صَالِحِينَ, if you are righteous, فَإِنَّهُ كَانَ لِلْأَوَّابِينَ غَفُورًا, then verily Allah is most forgiving to those people who turn to Him in repentance. وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ, and give the close relatives their due. Give your aunts, your uncles, your family their due, the money or the care or the time they deserve. وَالْمِسْكِينَ, and to the poor. وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and to the travelers. وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا, but do not waste in extravagance. What does it mean to waste? How do you waste in spending? is when you spend to show off. That is tubadhir tabdhira. Also when you spend on things that are not necessary, that is tubadhir tabdhira. Allah is saying do not do tabdhir. So what is the difference between israf and tabdhir? Right? It's an important word. So israf, the scholars give a nice example. So they say that imagine you're sitting in a hall and you have like 6 fans running at the same time, but 2 fans are enough for you, right? A group of people are sitting, 6 fans running at the same time, but even though 2 fans are sufficient, but 6 fans are running. That is israf. That's extravagance, right? Israf. But tubadhir is that all 6 fans are running and nobody is in the hall, right? Tabdhir is higher than that. So do not do tabdhir, do not go above and beyond. Innal mubadhirina kanu ikhwana shayateen. Those people who waste are brothers of shaitan. Very important for us. We waste a lot, especially in the month of Ramadan. Food is wasted, water is wasted, electricity is wasted, so much we just waste. And we had, some students, wasting papers, making these balls and fighting and wasting. This is tabdhir. This is tabdhir, right? I know what you're talking about, right? وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. Do not be extravagant, do not waste. They are brothers of shaitan. Those who waste are brothers of shaitan. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. Verily, shaitan to his master is extremely ungrateful. Right? When you waste the food, you're being ungrateful. You're showing ingratitude. وَإِمَّا تُعْرِضَنَّ عَنْهُمْ. And if you turn away from the needy people, you don't have the money, you turn away from them. ابْتِغَاءَ رَحْمَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكَ. Seeking Allah's bounty, like inshallah, when you have money, you'll give it. You need to turn away from them. Allah is saying, مِّن رَبِّكَ تَرْجُوهَا فَقُلْ لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَيْسُورًا. Speak to them good words, speak to them nice words. Don't be rude and turn away from them. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ مَغْلُولَةً إِلَىٰ عُنُقِكَ. Do not make your hands close-fisted. Do not make your hands tied to your necks. It's an expression to show you're not ready to spend. Do not be close-fisted. وَلَا تَبْسُطُهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ. And don't stretch it out completely. فَتَقْعُدَ مَلُومًا مَحْسُورًا. Then you'll become from the blameworthy ones and poor. And what does this mean? That when you spend, Allah is telling us, you have to spend, you should have a balanced spending. That when you spend, you should not spend so less that the wealth does not circulate, right, within the community and within the people, right? So wealth should circulate and spend from it, but when you spend, don't spend too much to the point that you don't have anything for yourself and your family is suffering, right? Have a balance. When you spend, take the middle course. إِنَّ رَبَّكَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Verily your master unfolds, expands the rizq to whomever he wants. وَيَقْدِرُ. And he holds it from whoever he wants. إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِعِبَادِهِ خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all aware and all seeing with regards to his servants. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ. Do not kill your children out of the fear of poverty. And this is people aborting, right? Abortion is made haram. Don't kill. And with the fear that, oh my God, what if I have a new child? How will I take care of my expenses? How will I don't have that much? Allah is saying, Allah will take it. نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ. We feed them and we feed you. We will take care of you. And do not ever do this, right? And a lot of you will see studies in human geography, how there's population is growing and food is decreasing and all these things we have to reduce, we have to control the population. No, Allah is saying we will take care, and history is a witness to this. When population grows, the food and the sustenance of that country also goes up, right? نحن نرزقهم وإياكم إن قتلهم كان خطأ كبيرا. Verily killing them is a major sin. Abortion is a major thing. Allah mentions, do not kill, we will take care of them. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not go close to zina, adultery and fornication. Allah is not saying do not commit zina. Don't even go close to it. Forget, a lot of people say, I didn't do anything wrong, I was just having a chat. That is getting close to it. It starts like that. So Allah is saying here, cut off all the means that lead to adultery. Cut off all the means that lead to fornication. A lot of parents give private time to the kids with internet. Private time with internet is a disaster. Because you don't know who they're talking to, you don't know what's happening. They are in the wild forest. If they have internet, they are in the wild forest. They are at home in the bedroom, right? Secure, but they're not secure because the hole in the bedroom, internet leading to the entire world, and you don't know what they are looking and who they are talking to. So these are things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stop. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not even go close to it. That's why looking is not allowed. Looking at things you're not supposed to look, and talking bad, foul languages. All these things that lead to it, you should not stay away from it. إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً. Indeed, it is a indecent act. وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا, and evil of the ways. That's why we have hijab and all these things to prevent. Saddu dara'i, right? Blocking the things, blocking the means that lead to haram. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. Do not kill life, do not kill a human being that Allah has made haram, except with justice, except with right. وَمَنْ قُتِلَ مَظْلُومًا. Whoever is killed unjustly, wrongfully, فَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا لِوَلِيِّهِ سُلْطَانًا. Then the wali, or the next relative, has the power or the option to take qisas, to take the blood of it, right? A right of retribution. Sultan, فَلَا يُسْرِفْ فِي الْقَتْلِ. But when you take the retribution, do not exceed in killing. So let's say someone kills somebody else, the family of that victim can kill this person. And Allah is saying, when you kill, do not exceed. Don't kill more than one person. If one person killed, do not kill his relatives too, or do not mutilate the body of that person. Or if you got the blood money for it, do not take the blood money and kill that person. So do not yusrif fil qatl. Innahu kana mansura. For indeed he is helped. Ayah number 34, Surah Isra. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا مَالَ الْيَتِيمِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Do not go close to the wealth of the orphan, إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, except that you act in the best manner. That when you deal with the wealth of the orphan, you take care of them in the best manner. حَتَّى يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّ, until they reach the age of maturity. وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ, and fulfill the covenants. إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. Verily all covenants will be questioned about. Allah will question us for all the promises we make. وَأَوْفُوا الْكَيْلَ إِذَا كِلْتُمْ, and fulfill and give in full measures. إِذَا كِلْتُمْ, when you measure. وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ, and weigh with the scale that is upright and straight. That when you do business, when you give people, do the upright thing. Do not mess with the scale. Do not take more and give less and cheat in it. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. That is fair and better in that is fair and better in its in executing it. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ, and do not pursue that which you have no knowledge of. Very important. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ. Do not pursue the things that you have no knowledge of. Meaning, don't follow guesswork. Right? Like when you're accusing someone, just be firm, have all the proofs, and do not just guess and accuse someone that this person is guilty of this. Or education, when you learn something, learn and believe in things that are set in stones. Do not just believe and follow guesswork and theories. A lot of modern education is just guesswork. A lot of science actually is theory that is like taught like as if this is a fact, right? Do not know what your belief systems are and what you believe and where you take from. Inna sam'a wal basara wal fu'ad kullu ulaika kana anhu mas'ula. Verily the ear, the sight, and the heart, every single thing will be questioned about. What you heard and saw and understood. وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Do not walk in the earth with arrogance and pride. إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضِ. You can never pierce through the earth. وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالِ. And you cannot reach the mountain heights. تبلغ الجبال طولا كل ذلك كان سيئه عند ربك مكروها. All of these things that Allah has mentioned are evil and reprehensible and hated in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah doesn't like all of these things we have just mentioned. ذلك مما أوحى إليك ربك من الحكمة. These are some of the things that your master has revealed unto you with hikmah, with purpose. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. Do not set gods with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَتُلْقَى فِي جَهَنَّمَ مَلُومًا مَدْحُورًا. Or else you will be cast into Jahannam, condemned and banished. فَأَفَأَصْفَاكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِالْبَنِينَ. Is your master going to select sons for himself? وَاتَّخَذَ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنَاثًا. أَفَأَصْفَاكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِالْبَنِينَ. That you have sons, that your Lord, that you have sons, you associate sons for yourself, and وَاتَّخَذَ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنَاثًا, and he will take daughters for himself, and angels as daughters for himself. إِنَّكُمْ لَتَقُولُونَ قَوْلًا عَظِيمًا. Whatever you're saying is a grave sin. Whatever you're saying is a grave and it's a big deal. وَلَقَدْ صَرَّفْنَا فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. Verily we have spelled out and explained everything in this Qur'an. لِيَذَّكَّرُوا, so that you take heed, so that you remember. وَمَا يَزِيدُهُمْ إِلَّا نُفُورًا. But it only increases them in aversion and they turn away from it. قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ مَعَهُ آلِهَةٌ. Say, if there are gods with him, كما يقولون, as they say, إذا لابتغوا إلى ذي العرش سبيلا. Then they would have إذا لابتغوا إلى ذي العرش سبيلا. Then they would have snatched his dominion, right? Then they would have fought with him, right? That in his throne, they would have fought and they would have snatched his dominion. Allah is saying, why can you not accept multiple gods? Because if there are multiple gods, then you would have seen there will be some chaos, that there is some fight happening between the two beings. Subhanahu, Allah is free from all imperfection. Wa ta'ala, and He's exalted. Amma yaquluna uluwan kabira. He's exalted. He's high above whatever they say. Uluwan kabira. He is high and great. وَتُسَبِّحُ لَهُ السَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ وَالْأَرْضُ مَنْ فِيهِنْ. Everything in the heavens and the earth, all the 7 heavens and the earth, glorify Him. And وَمَنْ فِيهِنْ, and everything that is in it also glorifies Him. What we see here is that Allah is saying everything is in harmony. Everything is following. That is a proof. The harmony of this world is a proof that there is one God. That you don't see the sun kind of coming in the nighttime. You don't see, gravity disobeying its laws. The sea and everything, all the physical laws, everything. The moon is in its place. Everything is in harmony. The cloud, the sea, the rain. Everything is in harmony. Is a proof that there's one being, there's one brain working behind this. Right? If there are multiple brains, then you know that 2 brains can never work together forever. And we know that. Right? At some point there will be disagreement. One God will say, I want rain in this city. Other God will say, no, I don't want rain. I want sunshine here. Right? So there will be disagreements. Allah is saying, تُسَبِّحُ لَهُ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ مَنْ فِيهِنْ وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. Every single thing, there's not a single thing in this world except that it's doing the tasbih of Allah. The plants, the ants, the clouds, everything you can imagine is doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. But you don't understand how they do the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The birds do the tasbih of Allah, but we don't know how they do it. Right? Only is known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّهُ كَانَ حَلِيمًا غَفُورًا. Verily Allah is most forbearing and most forgiving. Ayah number 45, Surah Isra. وَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنِ. And when we recite the Quran, جَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ الَّذِينَ لا يؤمنون بالآخرة حجابا مستورا. This ayah is very, very scary. Allah is saying that when you recite the Quran, we have placed a covering, a barrier which prevents the people who don't believe in the hereafter from understanding. They can't understand the Quran because it's some kind of a hijab. And today you see an average Muslim, when the Quran is being recited onto him, there's a hijab. He can't understand what the Quran is being recited. Average Muslim. It's a scary thing. And who are these people? Allah saying they don't believe in the hereafter. If you believe in the hereafter, ask yourself, if I believe in the hereafter, will I not take the time to understand what this book is saying so I make my hereafter better? Right? And Allah is saying, لا يؤمنون بالآخرة حجابا مستورا. This is a covering which prevents them from understanding this book. وَجَعَلْنَا عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكِنَّةً. And we have placed a covering in their hearts, أَن يَفْقَهُوهُ, that they don't understand it. وَفِي آذَانِهِمْ وَقْرًا. And there is a deafness, there is some kind of covering in their ears. And that is a covering of the Arabic language for an average Muslim. But these people, obviously, they're rejecting their sins. That's stopping them. And if you make mention of your Lord in the Quran, wahda, that Allah is alone, they turn back, showing, they turn away from the Quran. We know, we are best aware of what they are listening to. When they hear you, and إِذَا لَبْتَغَوْا وَإِذْ يَسْتَمِعُونَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِذْ هُمْ نَجْوَى. When they hear you and when they meet secretly within themselves, إِذْ يَقُولُ الظَّالِمُونَ, the transgressors say, إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا رَجُلًا مَسْحُورًا. That when they are with the Prophet ﷺ, and when they are in their own gatherings, when they hear about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet ﷺ, and they see that someone is kind of influenced with the Prophet ﷺ's message and is following Prophet ﷺ, they say, إِن تَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا رَجُلًا مَسْحُورًا. You are following a man who is bewitched, he's majnoon, he is someone who is possessed by jinn. Right? You're only following a رَجُلًا مَسْحُورًا. أُنظُرْ كَيْفَ ضَرَبُوا لَكَ الْأَمْثَالِ. Allah is saying, look how they give different examples to and make up different names to the Prophet ﷺ. Sometimes they call him a sorcerer, sometimes they call him bewitched, sometimes they call him a poet, sometimes they call him mad, sometimes they just make up this own thing that contradict each other. Right? Allah saying, "Unzur kayfa darabu lakal amthal fadallu." They have gone astray. فَلَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ سَبِيلًا. And they will not be able to find the straight path. وقالوا, and they say, أَإِذَا كُنَّا عِظَامًا وَرُفَاتًا أَإِنَّا لَمَبْعُوثُونَ خَلْقًا جَدِيدًا. Is it that when we become bones and bits and crushed into pieces, that we will be brought back to life and made into a new creation? قُلْ كُونُوا حِجَارَةً أَوْ حَدِيدًا. Say, whether you are stones or iron, أو خلقا مما يكبر في صدوركم, or you become a creation that feels great within themselves. Doesn't matter what you are, whether you are bones, whether you become bones and bits, or whether you're stones and iron. No matter what it is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَسَيَقُولُونَ مَنْ يُعِيدُنَا. Tell them that فَسَيَقُولُونَ that they say, who will bring us back? قُلِ الَّذِي فَطَرَكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Allah is saying, tell them that it is the one who created you for the first time. He will bring you back. فَسَيُنْغِضُونَ إِلَيْكَ رُؤُوسَهُمْ. Then they will shake their heads. When you tell them that the one who created you the first time will bring you back to life, they will shake their heads mockingly. Right? Oh yeah? Really? يَقُولُونَ مَتَاهُ. When is this going to happen? In mockingly they will ask, قُلْ عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونَ قَرِيبًا. Tell them perhaps it is really, really close by. يَوْمَ يَدْعُوكُمْ. The day He will call, فَتَسْتَجِيبُونَ بِحَمْدِهِ. You will respond to Him with His praise. The day when you will get up from your grave, your response will be hamd. Not only the believers, but even the disbelievers will praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because in this dunya, they had these forces suppressing the natural state. The natural state was to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fitrah. But they were suppressing because of the community, because of their izzah, because of different things, they were suppressing that natural, praise for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But on the day of judgment, they will be praising Allah. وَتَظُنُّونَ إِن لَبِثْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And they will think that they have only lived in this dunya for a very, very small time. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي. And tell my servants, يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. That they say that which is the best. Tell my servants to say the best word. And Allah is saying, when you are having da'wah, when you are having a conversation with the mushrikeen, with the people of the book, you have to speak in the best form. Do not use any language that's going to cause what? That's going to cause shaitan to come and split you into groups. Inna shaytana yanzaghu baynahum. Verily shaitan, incites between them. Inna shaytana kana lil insani aduwwan mubina. Verily shaitan is a clear enemy to human beings. So as a caller to Islam has to watch his words. Bad words can help shaitan to cause discord between us. So we have to make sure the word we choose and the way we communicate has to be the best. رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِكُمْ. Allah is more knowledgeable. Allah is best aware of you. إِن يَشَأْ يَرْحَمْكُمْ. If He wants, He will show mercy on you. أو إِن يَشَأْ يُعَذِّبكُمْ. Or if He wills, He will punish you. وَمَا God you call besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they don't have the power to remove the harm that you are facing, nor are they able to change that harm. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ يَبْتَغُونَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمُ الْوَسِيلَةَ أَيُّهُمْ أَقْرَبُ. And those and the angels and the saints that you are calling to, they themselves call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they themselves need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-wasila, they seek the wasila, then they do good deeds to seek Allah's closeness. Ayyuhum aqrab. And they help each other to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَرْجُونَ رَحْمَةً. And they seek the hope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَخَافُونَ عَذَابًا. And they fear His punishment. إِنَّ عَذَابَ رَبِّكَ كَانَ مَحْذُورًا. Verily the punishment of your master is to be guarded against. That Allah is saying that a believer, that the gods you worship, so-called gods, they themselves seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How is their worship? They hope for Allah's reward and they fear His punishment. We talked about hope and fear, how a believer needs to balance between hope and fear. وَإِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قبل يوم القيامة. There's not a single town except that it will be destroyed before the day of judgment. أو معذبوها, or it will be punished عذابا شديدا, with a severe torment. كان ذلك في الكتاب مسطورا. That is something that is recorded in the book. وما منعنا أن نرسل بالآيات. What does it mean every nation is going to be destroyed? Because every nation is sent a prophet, and every nation is going to have some people who is going to reject the prophet's message, and therefore every nation will be destroyed. That's what it means. وما منعنا أن نرسل بالآيات إلا أن كذب بها الأولون. Allah is saying we did not send any any sign except that they were rejected. Those signs were rejected by some people. وَأَهْدِنَا ثَمُودَ النَّاقَةَ مُبْصِرَةً فَظَلَمُوا بِهَا. And we even gave Thamud the she-camel. Example of how ayat came and was rejected is an example of the she-camel, Thamud was given the she-camel in مُبْصِرَةً clearly فَظَلَمُوا بِهَا, but they killed it. وَمَا نُرْسِلُ بِالْآيَاتِ إِلَّا تَخْوِيفًا. And we do not send the signs except to scare them, except to stop the people from disobedience. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لَكَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ أَحَاطَ بِالنَّاسِ. And when we said to you, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لَكَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ أَحَاطَ بِالنَّاسِ, that verily your Lord is encompassing it, and He is in full view of mankind. وَمَا جَعَلَ رُؤْيَا الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ. And we did not show the ru'ya, the things that we showed you, الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ, which we showed you, إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ, except as a test for mankind. And these are things that the realities of the night journey. The Prophet ﷺ, when he went on a night journey, he saw a number of things. Allah saying, all of that we showed you as a test for human beings, as a test for mankind. How? What is that test? To see if they will accept this message. And when the Prophet ﷺ came back from the night journey, the Quraysh, obviously, they started making fun of the Prophet ﷺ, even though he explained to them everything, what he saw in Bayt al-Maqdis, and all of the people who've been to Bayt al-Maqdis, they recognize that what the Prophet ﷺ is saying is the truth. And he even said that there's a caravan coming, and it has these many people, and it is bringing these things, and it's going to reach at this time. So they're waiting, and in few months, when that caravan actually reached Makkah, it was exactly the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. So he showed them all these were signs, and Allah is saying all this miracle was to see who is going to accept this message. And when the Prophet when the Quraysh went to Abu Bakr, and they said, Abu Bakr, do you know what the Prophet, your companion, is saying? That he said that he's saying that he went to Bayt al-Maqdis and he traveled to 7 heavens and came back in one night. Do you believe that? And then Abu Bakr says, if he said that, that's going to be true. Because I believe in something much, much greater than that, which is, I believe that Jibreel a.s. comes to the 7 heavens and he gives him the Quran. He brings him revelation, so this is not surprising to me. So he accepts this message immediately, and that's when he gets the name Siddiq. Right? So Allah says, we showed you all of these things to test to test the people. وَالشَّجَرَةَ الْمَلْعُونَةَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. And also the cursed tree in the Quran is also a test. What is this cursed tree? So the Prophet ﷺ said that in Jahannam there is a tree in Jahannam that's made from fire. And what happened, he says that he saw this in the night journey. So when he told them, the Quraysh started making fun of the Prophet ﷺ, because for them everything is logic, right? They're like, how can a tree come from fire? How can a tree can be made from fire? So it didn't make sense to them. And Allah can do whatever He wants. And a believer does not rely on logic, because our logic is limited. And as things go, we understand more things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we just accept. So they reject and make fun of it. And that's what the Shajarat al-Mal'una refers to. In fact, there are insects made from fire. Right? There are insects made that can live in fire. And Arabs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in Surah Waqi'ah, that Arabs would use the trees and these branches to make fire, to ignite fire. Like Allah says, أَأَنْشَأْتُمْ شَجَرَتَهَا أَمْ نَحْنُ الْمُنْشِئُونَ. That are you the one who ignite the fire, or are we the ones? That you use these branches, these things to spark and create fire. So Allah is saying it's completely fine. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالشَّجَرَةُ الْمَلْعُونَةَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَنُخَوِّفُهُم. And we frighten them, فَمَا يَزِيدُهُمْ إِلَّا طُغْيَانًا كَبِيرًا. But they only increase in transgression and turn away from it. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا. And when we said to the angels, اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ, prostrate to Adam alayhi salam, فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. All of them prostrated except Iblis. قَالَ, he said, أَأَسْجُدُ لِمَنْ خَلَقْتَ طِينًا. Should I prostrate to the one whom you have created from clay? قَالَ, and Shaitan says, أَرَأَيْتَكَ هَذَا الَّذِي كَرَّمْتَ عَلَيْهِ. He says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at this creation. Is this creation worthy of that praise? That you have raised it to that level? He's questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَرَأَيْتَكَ هَذَا الَّذِي كَرَّمْتَ عَلَيْهِ لَإِنْ أَخَّرْتَنِي. If you give me some time إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ لَأَحْتَرِكَنَّ ذُرِّيَّتَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. I will surely get hold of this progeny and mislead them, except a few of them. I will show you what this creation is actually worthy of. That this creation is not worthy of your praise. Give me some time, I'll show you how horrible this creation is. قَالَ اذْهَبْ فَمَنْ تَبِعَكَ مِنْهُمْ. It says, go, then whoever follows you from them, فَإِنَّ جَهَنَّمَ جَزَاؤُكُمْ جَزَاءً مَوْفُورًا. Verily Jahannam is going to be the reward, will be the complete recompense for those people. وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ. Allah says, go and instigate and provoke them. These are some of the ways how shaitan is going to mislead us. وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ. The first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that He is going to use His voice to mislead people. Right? He's going to use voice. What does that mean? That foul language, music, and all kinds of different tools that he's going to use to mislead. Any kind of voice or something that keeps you away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a device of shaitan. Anything, right? So وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ. He will use his voice, right? Singing and dancing and music and all these things to mislead. وَأَجْلِبَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِخَيْلِكَ. And gather, Allah is saying, go ahead and gather your cavalry and your army together, your horses together, and go fight against them. وَشَارِكُمْ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. And partner with them in their wealth and their offspring. Allah is saying shaitan is going to partner and take some part and play with our wealth and children. That shaitan's big attack is on the children. If the children are misguided, then everything is done. And he'll also try and split the husband and wife. Because if the mother and father are separated, then the children have no supervision, children have no one to take care of, then shaitan can easily mislead them. وَعِدَهُمْ. And make promises to them. وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. But the promise of shaitan is only a deception. And today we see that kids, when are given big screen TV and PlayStation and privacy and everything they want, and as a gift they're given these phones and all these things, and enjoy your time, just don't disturb me, right? Give it this time, and this is it. Shaitan has his tools, has his devices, his games of killing and murdering. All these things are made so that parents have no idea what's happening, and then shaitan is taking good advantage of this devices and these things. وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. And shaitan only promises deception. إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ. Verily, my servants, you will not have any authority over them. وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ وَكِيلًا. And your Lord is sufficient as a guardian over them. That some servants you will not have any authority over them. رَبُّكُمُ الَّذِي يُزْجِي لَكُمُ الْفُلْكَ. Your Lord is the one who drives for you al-fulk, who moves the ships in the sea, لِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ, so that you seek His bounty. إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. Verily your master is most merciful. وَإِذَا مَسَّكُمُ الضُّرُّ فِي الْبَحْرِ. And if something harm happens to you in the sea, ضَلَّ مَنْ تَدْعُونَ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. So he gets lost. ضَلَّ مَنْ تَدْعُونَ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Those people whom they used to worship against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they leave them alone. فَلَمَّا نَجَّاهُمْ إِلَى الْبَرِّ. And when He rescues them to a safe land, أَعْرَضْتُمْ. They turn away. That these people, they call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only when they are in difficult times, but when they are safe, they turn away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ كَفُورًا. And humankind is ever ungrateful. أَفَأَمِنْتُمْ. Do you feel secure? أَن يَخْسِفَ بِكُمْ جَانِبَ الْبَرِّ. That a part of the land will not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not sink you with the land. جانب البر أو يرسل عليكم حاصبا. Do you feel safe from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending down hailstones on you? ثم لا تجدوا لكم وكيلا. Then you will not find a protective friend against a guardian against him. أم أمنتم. Or do you feel secure أن يعيدكم فيه تارة أخرى. That He may bring you back into one creation once again, resurrect you. فيرسل عليكم قاصفا. And then He sends against you a storm, من الريح, of wind, فيغرقكم, that will drown you, بما كفرتم, because of your disbelief. ثم لا تجدوا لكم علينا به تبيعا. Then you will not find against us any aid. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. And we have honored the children of Adam alayhi salam. We have raised him. وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. And we carry him in the land and sea. وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. And we provide him from the good things. وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And we give them precedence over many of the things that we have created. That we honored Bani Adam over all the creations. And we know that we are the Ashraf al-Makhluqat, the best of creation. And Allah says in Surah Taqweem that when you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can become Ahsan al-Taqweem, the best of creation. Or when the human being, after having all the capabilities, rejects Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he can become also Asfal al-Safilin. So the choice is in our hands. ثُمَّ نَدْعُو يَوْمَ نَدْعُو كُلَّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ. On that day, on the day of judgment, every human being will be called with their imam, with their prophet. That the nation of Prophet ﷺ come forward, the nation of Musa ﷺ, every nation will be called with their imam. فَمَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. Whoever is given the book in their right hand, فَأُولَٰئِكَ يَقْرَؤُونَ كِتَابَهُم. They will read their books, وَلَا يُظْلَمُونَ فَتِيلًا. And they will not be wronged, even a fatila. We talked about fatila, it's a thread on top of the date seed. Even that much of a reward will not go waste. Allah will give you that reward. وَلَا يُظْلَمُونَ فَتِيلًا. وَمَنْ كَانَ فِي هَذِهِ أَعْمَى. And whoever is blind, right, to Allah's favors, فَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى. He is going to be blind in the hereafter. وَأَضَلُّ سَبِيلًا. And he will be misled from the straight path. وَإِنْ كَادُوا لَيَفْتِنُونَكَ عَنِ الَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ. And they almost, tempted you to take you away from this, from what we have revealed to you. لِتَفْتَرِيَ عَلَيْنَا غَيْرًا. So that you make up something against us. That the Quraysh, they were tempting the Prophet ﷺ and telling him to change the ayat of Allah and do something that Allah doesn't want them to do. For example, they would say, Ya Rasulullah, just come, we don't want you to worship the idols, just put your hand on it, kind of endorse our idols and kind of, just stand there, don't do anything, and inshallah we'll accept everything in the Quran. Just put your hand, just like, a little bit, just wonder, what's the big deal? أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ. Allah saying, you almost, would have, fallen into it. وَإِذَا لَاتَّخَذُوكَ خَلِيلًا. And they would have taken you as a close friend. وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ. And if it was not for us making your heart firm, لَقَدْ كِدْتَ تَرْكَنُ إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا. And you would have inclined towards them a little bit. For sure you would have done it, because the Prophet ﷺ is lenient and he's loving, and Allah says you would have done it. وَإِذَا لَأَذَقْنَاكَ ضِعْفَ الْحَيَاةِ. And in that case, we would have made you taste ضِعْفَ الْحَيَاةِ, double the punishment in this dunya, وَضِعْفَ الْمَمَاتِ, and double the punishment in the hereafter. ثُمَّ لَا تَجِدُ لَكَ عَلَيْنَا نَصِيرًا. And then you would not have found any helper against us. So Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ, if you had done that, then we would have punished you twice. Why? Because he's a prophet of Allah, higher the status, greater the punishment. So Allah is saying that would have happened. And this is the proof that Quran is not written by the Prophet ﷺ. Because why would he scold himself? Right? That doesn't make sense. So this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ayah number 76, Surah Isra. وَإِنْ كَادُوا لَيَسْتَفِزُّونَكَ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ. And they almost try to scare you off the land, لِيُخْرِجُوكَ مِنْهَا, to get you out of this land. وَإِذَا لَا يَلْبَثُونَ خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And if they get you out of the land, then what's going to happen? In that case, they will not have stayed in the world for more than a few months. Right? Allah is saying, if they get you out of the land, then they would have been destroyed right after you. And we see that when the Prophet ﷺ was removed, when he was expelled from Makkah, what happened? There was a famine. That was a punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on them. And the next big thing that destroyed them was Battle of Badr. Right? That exactly what happened. That when the messenger is expelled from the city, a punishment never comes when the messenger is there. Once the messenger leaves that city, the punishment of Allah comes, and that's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separates the believers and disbelievers, and Badr happened to annihilate them completely. Sunnata man qad arsalna qablaka min rusulina. This is a way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that qad arsalna qablaka min rusulina, that He sends messengers before, that He has sent messengers before. وَلَا تَجِدُ لِسُنَّتِنَا تَحْوِيلًا. And you will not find any alternation or any change in the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِدُلُوكِ الشَّمْسِ إِلَى غَسَقِ اللَّيْلِ. We talked about this, that this surah begins Isra. It's called Surah Al-Isra, talks about the night journey. And in the night journey, one of the best things that happened is that the Prophet ﷺ got the gift of salah. The salah is so important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not send salah through a messenger. He says, no, this is important. I need the messenger here. You know, like if you're the boss and you are talking to your employees, and if something not that important, you will send an email or you will send a messenger to convey this message. But if something is private and really, really important, you have to give like a lot of money. You're not going to say, here's $1 million, please give it to him. No. Can you go on and bring him here and close the door? So the Prophet was brought into the office of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and even Jibreel could not see what's happening, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the gift of salah. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights, أَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ, establish salah, لِدُلُوكِ الشَّمْسِ, from the declining of the sun, إِلَى غَسِقِ اللَّيْلِ, till the darkening of the night, وَقُرْآنَ الْفَجْرِ, and the Qur'an of Fajr, إِنَّ قُرْآنَ الْفَجْرِ كَانَ مَشْهُودًا, verily the Qur'an of Fajr is witnessed. What does this mean? The Qur'an, the salah of Fajr. It should be the Salah of Fajr, but Allah says the Qur'an of Fajr. What is the Qur'an of Fajr? Because the highlight of Fajr, Salat al-Fajr, is the Qur'an. The Qur'an should be read loud and long ayat in Fajr time. And you know, it's after Taraweeh, it's difficult, you know, in the Fajr time, but do not compromise. That's your fard, and Taraweeh is nafil, right? That's nafil. To not compromise on your Fajr ibadah, that is your focus. That should be your focus. Qur'an al-Fajr, and reading in Jama'ah, obviously, and praying in Jama'ah. And Qur'an is highlighted because that is the highlight of the surah. So you have the salah, and Allah says, كَانَ مَشْهُودًا, that it is witnessed. The Qur'an of Fajr is witnessed. Witnessed by whom? Witnessed by the angels. When you recite the Qur'an loud at Fajr time, the angels are witnessing it. So beautify it and read in the best manner. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ, and in some parts of the night, فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ, pray tahajjud, نَافِلَةً لَكَ. It is an extra, it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you. نَافِلَةً لَكَ is not mandatory, but it's nafil, but it was mandatory for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا, perhaps your Lord will raise you to a praiseworthy station. And there's the highest place in Jannah which will be granted to the Prophet ﷺ. Allah will raise you to a high status. وَقُلْ رَبِّي, and say, Rabbi, my master, أَدْخِلْنِي مُدْخَلَ صِدْقٍ, make me enter an entrance of truth. وَأَخْرِجْنِي مُخْرَجَ صِدْقٍ, and take me out of it with truth. وَجَعَلْنِي مِنْ لَدُنْكَ سُلْطَانًا نَصِيرًا, and make for me an authority that helps, you know, from your favors. And this dua you can also make when you enter houses, right? When you enter a land, when you enter a country, you can also make this dua. وَقُلْ, and say, جاء الحق وزهق الباطل, that the truth has come and falsehood has passed away, has perished. إن الباطل كان زهوقا, verily falsehood is bound to perish. And this ayat, the Prophet ﷺ, when he came from Mecca, the Fath Makkah, when he was destroying the idols. There are about 360 idols in the Kaaba, right? And so when the Fath Makkah happened, he was destroying the idols, and as he was destroying and crushing them, he was reciting this ayah, right? جاء الحق, the truth has come and falsehood has perished. Verily falsehood is bound to perish. وَكَانَ زَهُوقًا وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ, and we have sent down the Qur'an. مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ, in Qur'an, through Qur'an there is shifa, there is healing. وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and there is mercy for the believers. Who? Only for believers is mercy, not for everybody else. It is cure and mercy for believers. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا, but the Qur'an only increases in loss for the transgressors. The people who are zalim, the people who are like, kind of half and half, they always depend on logic. For them, Qur'an does not make sense. They're like, that doesn't make sense to me. They always go after logic. So Allah is saying, Qur'an will increase them in their transgression. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا, in loss. وَإِذَا أَنْعَمْنَا عَلَى الْإِنسَانِ, and when we bestow on humankind, أَعْرَضَ, he turns away. وَنَأَى بِجَانِبِ, and he moves on his side. He doesn't even care for the blessings Allah has given. وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ, and when something evil happens to him, كَانَ يَئُوسًا, he loses his hope and he becomes reckless and despair. And they ask you about the ruh, قُلِ رُوحٌ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي, say that the ruh, the spirit, is from the command of my master. وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, and you have not been given any knowledge except a little. So we don't know much about the ruh. We have a lot of things about the body and we don't know much. The knowledge has not been given to human beings. That's why today in psychology, they deny ruh. They don't even say there's soul. They just say it's just a body. It's a study of the brain. They don't even care about the heart. The spirituality aspect is completely removed, because Allah is saying that you don't have the knowledge of it. So unless there's divine knowledge, you won't know anything from it. And so what does it mean? They ask you about the ruh. The mushrikeen of Mecca, they went to the Bani Israel, the Jews, and they asked them, give us some questions that we can ask the Prophet ﷺ to test his prophethood. And so they said, okay, ask him 3 questions. Number 1, ask him about the ruh. Number 2, ask him about the people of the cave. And number 3, ask him about Dhul Qarnayn. And some say, ask him about Khidr. Right? So ask him about these questions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers those 3 questions in these 2 surahs. One of them is here, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ. Allah says, you don't have knowledge about it. And people of the cave will be in the next surah. And Dhul Qarnayn is also in the next surah, and Khidr. وَلَئِنْ شِئْنَا لَنَذْهَبَنَّ بِالَّذِي. And if we would have surely taken away, لَنَذْهَبَنَّ بِالَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ. We would have taken this revelation away from you. Ya Rasulullah, if you wanted, we would have taken the Quran away from you. ثُمَّ لَا تَجِدُ لَكَ بِهِ عَلَيْنَا وَكِيلًا. Then you would not have found any guardian, any protector against us. That you will not have anybody to bring this Quran back. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. It is only through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have this Quran. إِنَّ فَضْلَهُ كَانَ عَلَيْكَ كَبِيرًا. Verily, the fadl of Allah, of your master, is great. You know, the Quraysh were saying the Prophet ﷺ made up this Quran and he copied from someone. Allah is saying that the Prophet ﷺ does not even have the power to withhold this Quran if we were to take it away from him. That is us, this Quran is written by us, is not fabricated by the Prophet ﷺ. Ayah number 88. قُلْ لَإِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسِ. Tell them, if you gather ins and jinns, human beings and jinns, عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ, to make a Quran, to make something like this Quran, لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِ. They will not be able to produce this Quran, وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا, even if they were to support each other. But Allah is saying that there's a challenge Allah has He has put several times, saying no matter what you do, you can't make a Quran like this. وَلَقَدْ صَرَّفْنَا لِلنَّاسِ فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. And verily we have explained for humankind every single thing in this Quran. مِن كُلِّ مَثَلٍ, of all examples. فَأَبَى أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ. But most people turn away and decline, refuse it. إِلَّا كُفُورًا. They become disbelievers. وَقَالُوا, and they say, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى تَفْجُرَ لَنَا مِنَ الْأَرْضِ يَنبُوعًا. These are some of the miracles that they demanded. And this is the intellect, the intellectual level of the people of this dunya, that they ask things from this dunya. So Allah is saying, قُلْ, tell them. So Allah is saying, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ. They say that we will never believe until you bring out مِنَ الْأَرْضِ يَنبُوعًا. You bring a spring out of this earth. أَوْ تَكُونَ لَكَ جَنَّةٌ مِّن نَخِيلٍ. Or you bring gardens of date palms, وَعِنَبٍ, and grapes. فَتُفَجِّرُ الْأَنْهَارَ خِلَالَهَا تَفْجِيرًا. And that garden should have water coming from the middle, meaning it should have irrigation, set. أو تسقط السماء كما زعمت علينا. Or you should make the sky fall, like the way you presume, like the way you were saying that you went to the heavens and all that. Make the sky falls علينا, on us, كسفا, in pieces. أو تأتي بالله والملائكة قبيلا. Or bring Allah and angels to us face to face. We want to see Allah and His angels face to face. أو يكون لك بيت من زخرف. Or you should bring out you should have a house made of gold. أو ترقى في السماء. Or you should climb into the heavens. وَلَن نُؤْمِنَ لِرُقِيِّكَ. And we will not believe in you لِرُقِيِّكَ, in your climbing, حَتَّى تُنَزِّلَ عَلَيْنَا كِتَابًا نَقْرَأُ, unless you bring down a book that we read. That we have to see you physically going up the sky and you're bringing a book down, and then we'll believe in it, right? Only then. قُلْ سُبْحَانَ رَبِّي. Say, Allah is free from all of these, imperfections. رَبِّي هَلْ كُنْتُ إِلَّا بَشَرًا رَسُولًا. Am I not a human being? I'm just a human being sent as a messenger. I'm not God. I'm just a human being. Allah is saying to the Prophet ﷺ, وَمَا مَنَعَ النَّاسِ أَن يُؤْمِنُوا إِذْ جَاءَهُمُ الْهُدَى إِلَّا أَنْ قَالُوا أَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ بَشَرًا رَسُولًا. And we did not prevent human beings did not believe when the guidance came to them, except that they said that only a human being has sent as a messenger. Allah has sent a human being as a messenger. قُلْ, tell them, لَوْ كَانَ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَلَائِكَةٌ يَمْشُونَ. If the angels were to come down, and if the angels were living with them and walking in the earth, لَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْهِ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَلَكًا رَسُولًا. We would send angels as messengers from the sky. That Allah is saying, if angels were living amongst you, then we would have sent angels as messengers. But human beings live with you, so we send human beings as messengers. Because angels are not made for this earth, how can they come and stay with you? قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Tell them Allah is sufficient as a witness between me and you. إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِعِبَادِهِ خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. Verily your master is all aware and all seeing. وَمَن يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, verily He is committed to guidance. وَمَن يُضْلِلْ. And whoever He misguides, فَلَن تَجِدَ لَهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِهِ. And He will not find any protector besides Him. وَنَحْشُرُهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And we will gather them on the day of judgment, عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ, on their faces, عُمْيًا وَبُكْمًا وَصُمًّا, blind, dumb and deaf. مَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمْ. Their place will be Jahannam. كُلَّمَا خَبَتْ زِدْنَاهُمْ سَعِيرًا. Whenever the Jahannam dies down, we will rekindle it and increase its blazing fire. ذَلِكَ جَزَاؤُهُمْ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. That is a reward because they disbelieve in the ayat of Allah. And وَقَالُوا, and they used to say, أَإِذَا كُنَّا عِظَامًا وَرُفَاتًا. Is it that when we become bones and bits, إِنَّا لَمَبْعُوثُونَ خَلْقًا جَدِيدًا, that we will be resurrected into a new creation? أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا. Don't they see أَنَّ اللَّهَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ قَادِرٌ عَلَىٰ أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُم. That the one who created the heavens and the earth is capable on creating something like that. أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُم. That the one who is capable, who created you the first time, can do it again. وَجَعَلَ لَهُمْ أَجَلًا لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. But He has set an appointed time. He has given a set time for the day of judgment. لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. There is no doubt in it. فَأَبَى الظَّالِمُونَ إِلَّا كُفُورًا. But the transgressors deny it and they increase in their disbelief. قُلْ لَوْ أَنْتُمْ تَمْلِكُونَ خَزَائِنَ رَحْمَةِ رَبِّي. Tell them, if you own the treasures of the heavens and the earth, if you own the treasures of the mercy of my Master, إِذًا لَأَمْسَكْتُمْ خَشْيَةَ الْإِنفَاقِ. Then you would not have given anything to anybody out of the fear of poverty. That if you did not own, if you own the provisions, if you own the wealth of this dunya, then you will not have given anything to anybody. Because وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ قَدُورًا. A man the human being is miserly, is created like that, he's stingy. He would not share with others. When you have more, you'll keep it. The fact that you have the wealth, the fact that everybody has something, provision, rizq, is a sign that it is owned by the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the hint is also here to the Bani Israel, that if the revelation came to them, to Bani Israel, they would not have shared this message with anybody. But the Prophet ﷺ is sharing with everybody else. So Allah is saying that this is the truth. وَلَقَدْ آتِينَا مُوسَى تِسْعَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. In fact, we gave Musa alayhi salam تِسْعَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ, 9 clear signs. And those clear signs, we had the staff. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah A'raf, the Tis'a ayat, where the staff, the radiant hand, the years of drought, the shortfall in crops, the tufan, the flood, the locust, the lice, the frogs, the water turning into blood, all these were the signs. Tis'a ayat bayinat. فَاسْأَلْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. As the children of Israel, إِذْ جَاءَهُمْ, when he came to them, فَقَالَ لَهُ فِرْعَوْنَ. Fir'aun said to him, إِنِّي لَأَظُنُّكَ يَا مُوسَى مَسْحُورًا. I think that, O Musa, you are bewitched, you are possessed by jinn. قال لقد علمت. So Musa replied, لقد علمت ما أنزل هؤلاء إلا رب السماوات والأرض. That he said, you know that what has been sent down is from the Master of the heavens and the earth. بصائر, as enlightenment. وإني لأظنك يا فرعون مذبورا. I think that Fir'aun is doomed to destruction. فأراد أن يستفزهم من الأرض. So Fir'aun intended to scare them off the land. فأغرقناه, so we drowned him. ومن معه جميعا, and all of them who was with them. وَقُلْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. And we said after him, we said to Bani Israel, uskunu al-ard, live in the land. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ. When the promise of the hereafter comes, جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. We will bring you on the day of judgment mixed with others. وَبِالْحَقِّ أَنزَلْنَاهُ وَبِالْحَقِّ نَزَلْ. And in fact, with truth we swear, with truth we have sent it down, and with truth it has come down. We sent it down with truth, and it has come to you in the perfect way, which is the Quran. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا. And we have not sent you except as a giver of good news and as someone who warns. وَقُرْآنًا, and the Quran, فَرَقْنَاهُ, we have portioned it, we have sent in parts, لِتَقْرَأُهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ, so that you recite on to the people in intervals, in different intervals. وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا, and we sent it down in gradual sending. Like over a period of 23 years, Allah has sent bits by bit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the answer to this in Surah Furqan, that why this happens, because to لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ, to strengthen your heart. that if Quran came down all at once, then the Prophet ﷺ will not have constant reminders. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would time when whatever the emotions of the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims were, the Quran came down and motivated them. So لِثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ, to strengthen the heart. قُلْ آمِنُوا بِهِ أَوْ لَا تُؤْمِنُوا. Ayah number 107. Say, whether you believe in him or أَوْ لَا تُؤْمِنُوا, or don't believe in him. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ. Verily those people who were given the knowledge before him, إِذَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْهim, when the ayat were recited unto them, يَخِرُّونَ لِلْأَذْقَانِ سُجَّدًا. They used to fall in prostration. They would fall on their faces doing sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَوْ يَقُولُونَ, and they would say, سُبْحَانَ رَبِّنَا, glory to our Master. إِن كَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّنَا لَمَفْعُولًا. Verily the promise of our Master is to be acted upon. وَيَخِرُّونَ, and they are those people when the ayat are recited, they fall. وَيَخِرُّونَ لِلْأَذْقَانِ, they fall on their faces. يَبْكُونَ, weeping to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَزِيدُهُمْ خُشُوعًا, and it only increases them in their humility. This is the ayah of sajda, so let's do the sajda inshallah. So the ayah saying, when the ayat are recited onto them, they would fall in sujood, crying towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, showing the humility. And that's why we're showing that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's do my sujood inshallah. قُلِ ادْعُوا اللَّهَ أَوِ ادْعُوا الرَّحْمَنَ. Say, call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or call him the most merciful. أَيَّمَّا تَدْعُوا, whatever name you call him, فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. To Allah belongs the most beautiful names. Allah and Ar-Rahman, or Allah is the proper name of Allah, and Ar-Rahman is also his personal name. Everything else is an attribute. أَيَّدْنَا فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. To him belongs the beautiful names. وَلَا تَجْهَرْ بِصَلَاتِكَ, which is audible but not too quiet. وَبَتِغْ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ سَبِيلًا. وَقُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ, and say, Alhamdulillah, all praise and thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الذي لم يتخذ ولد, the one who has not taken any son. ولم يكن له شريك في الملك, and the one who has no partners in his dominion. ولم يكن له ولي من الذل, and he has no friend out of his weakness. He is not weak and he doesn't need a friend. وكبره تكبيرا, and declare him as the greatest and in absolute greatness. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. So that brings us to the end of Surah Isra. So again, the conversation is with the Meccans, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing the story of Bani Israel to show what happened to them, and then He goes through the rest of the things in the night journey and lessons for us. So inshallah, we'll continue with Surah Al-Kahf. We'll just start Surah Al-Kahf and then take a quick break inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Surah Al-Kahf is a Makki surah, and this surah was revealed in the 8th year of Nubuwwah, 8 years after prophethood, and it is a Makki surah, and there are a lot of virtues of Surah Al-Kahf. The Prophet says that anybody who recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday, he will have light from one Friday to the next Friday, meaning he will have the light, the guidance, right, from one Friday to the next Friday. And the Prophet says, anybody who recites Surah Al-Kahf will be protected from the trials of Dajjal. And it's an important surah, especially in the end of times. And this surah has 4 unique stories, and these stories all tackle the trial, address the trial of Dajjal. The trial of Dajjal will be different things, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings in these 4 stories to show how you can, tackle those and be protected from his trials. And this surah is Kahf, which means the cave, and cave signifies the protection from trials. A cave is protection, so this surah is a protection from those things. We begin, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitab wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja. All praise and thanks is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who sent down the book on his servant, wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja, and he has not placed any crookedness in this book. Qayyiman liyundhira ba'san shadid. This book is upright. Liyundhira ba'san shadid. It warns for a severe war, min ladunhu, especially from him, wa yubashshir al-mu'mineen, and gives good news to the believers, alladhina ya'maluna salihat, the ones who do righteous deeds, anna lahum ajran hasana, that they will have a beautiful reward. Makithina fihi abada, they will remain in Jannah forever and ever. وَيُنذِرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا, and he warns So, and this book came down to warn those people who say, اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا, Allah has taken a son, and these are the Christians. So Bani Israel was addressing the Jews, and Surah Al-Kahf is addressing the Christians. وَيُنذِرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا, and to warn those people who say that Allah has taken a son. مَا لَهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ, they have no knowledge at all. وَلَا لِآبَائِهِمْ, neither their forefathers. كَبُرَتْ كَلِمَةً, it's a grave thing that they say, تَخْرُجُ مِنْ أَفْوَاهِهِمْ, it's a grave thing that comes out of their mouths. إِن يَقُولُونَ إِلَّا كَذِبًا, they're only lying. فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ, Ya Rasulullah, you would almost kill yourself, out of, you will have so much grief and you will feel so sad, على آثارهم, over their actions, إِن لَمْ يُؤْمِنُوا, if they don't believe, بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا, in this speech, and you will almost kill yourself out of grief. بهذا لعلك باخر نفسك أسفا. إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض, verily we have made whatever is in the land زينة لها, as a beautification for it. لنبلوكم أيهم أحسن عملا, so that we test which of you does the best deed. So Allah is saying everything on the earth is beautified as a test to see who does the best deeds, who guards himself and follows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِنَّا لَجَاعِلُونَ, and we have indeed made مَا عَلَيْهَا صَعِيدًا جُرُزًا, that whatever is on the earth will become صَعِيدًا جُرُزًا, a barren land. All this beautification, Allah says, will one day become a barren land, that this earthquake will come and this destruction will come and make it into a flat land. أَمْ حَسِبْتَ أَنَّ أَصْحَابَ الْكَهْفِ وَالرَّقِيمِ كَانُوا مِنْ آيَاتِنَا عَجَبًا, do you really think that the stories, the companions of the cave and the description were كَانُوا مِنْ آيَاتِنَا عَجَبًا, from our signs, a wonder, that these are are you really amazed by the story of the people of the cave? إِذْ أَوَى الْفِتْيَةُ, recall when the young men took refuge in the cave, إِلَى الْكَهْفِ فَقَالُوا رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا. These young men, they took refuge in the cave and they said, "O our master, give us, especially from you, a mercy, وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا, and facilitate for us our matters." فضربنا على آذانهم, so we struck on their ears, في الكهف سنين عددا, in the cave for many years. So we stuck on their ears, we put them to sleep for many years in the cave. So this is the story of the people of the cave. What happened is, there were a group of young men who believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the king of that city was tyrant, right? He was worshipping moon gods, and he was an idol worshipper. So when he heard about people worshipping one god, he called them, and then he says, what's the matter? And so they were given some time, that and these young men, they obviously refused to submit to this tyrant king, and they say, we worship one God. And this king says, I'll give you few days to repent, and their names are written on inscription, were inscribed or written on stones, that if they don't accept our religion, they will be killed. They'll be killed, stoned to death. And so what happens, these people, they seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, they beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides them to the cave. And this story comes during the persecution of the Muslims. And Allah is telling that these people did not give up their faith against the cruel king. So you should not give up your faith against a cruel society. That you have to stand up and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like this young man did, make dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things easy for you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them to sleep for 309 years. فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ. So as the ayat go, I'll explain inshallah. فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ means to hit the ear. So when you put the baby to sleep, what do? You do like just tap the ears, you'll fall asleep, right? Do it right now, you'll fall asleep, but do it after. فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ. So we stuck on the ears in the cave, فِي الْكَهْفِ سِنِينَ عَدَدًا, for many years. ثُمَّ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ. Then we raised them, لِنَعْلَمَ أَيُّ الْحِزْبَيْنِ, so that we know which of the two groups أَحْصَى was better in calculation, لِمَا لَبِثُوا أَمَدًا, with regards to the time they stayed. نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ. We relate on to you their story with truth, with purpose also. إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ, verily they were young men, آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ, they believed in their master, وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى, and we increased them in guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights that they were young men. So Allah is saying, always in any community, young men are always going to stand up against injustice, right? Because they are not used to Like, when you get older, you get used to those ways, and you get used to your forefathers, and you just follow that. It's hard for you to change. But young men, as they grow up, they see the injustice, they call it for what it is, and they don't fear any blame. So Allah is saying these were young men who stood up, and what happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increased them in guidance. When they did their part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them out. وَرَبَطْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ, Allah fastened their hearts, made them firm. إِذْ قَامُوا, when they stood up. فَقَالُوا رَبُّنَا رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Imagine, the king calls them. On one side you have these young men, and the other side you have the entire community, and they are all against these young men. And Allah is saying that when they stood up, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthened their hearts, and they were able to say the right thing without fearing the king or any consequences. They said, Rabbuna Rabbu samawati wal ard, our master is the master of the heavens and the earth. لَن نَدْعُوَ مِن دُونِهِ إِلَهًا, we're not going to call any ilah besides him. لَقَدْ قُلْنَا إِذًا شَطَطًا, if you do, then that is going to be the most outrageous thing. هؤلاء قوم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة. These young men, they speak the truth, and they say these people, our nation, they have taken اتخذوا من دونه آلهة, that they have taken gods besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين, why don't they bring proofs, clear proofs against it? فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا, and who is more unjust than the one who makes up lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وإذ اعتزلتموهم, and when they isolated themselves, when they ran away from that city, إذ اعتزلتموهم وما يعبدون إلا الله, and ما يعبدون, they did not worship anybody besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ, so they said, all of you, go take refuge in the cave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides them to a cave. فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ, your Lord will unfold and take care of you. مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ, from His mercy. وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ, and He will facilitate and make things easy for you. مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا, and facilitate for your affairs. أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ, and in the cave, when they went into the cave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of them by moving the sun. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ, and you will see the sun when it grew, when it rose. إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ, it moved from the cave ذات اليمين, to the right. وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقْرِضُهُمْ, and when it set تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذات الشِّمال, it was cutting away from it, from the left. وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْ, while they were in an open space. So they were in the cave, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes sure that they don't have too much sunlight, so that they wake up, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them enough sunlight for them to survive, but the rays were not hitting them directly. Even though it's going from east to west, right? It should have hit them throughout, but Allah is saying that when it will be in the eastern side, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bend the rays to the sun, so it barely touches them, and it was said, it would also do the same thing. وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْ, when they were in its cap, in the middle of it. ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ, that is from the signs of Allah. مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ, whoever Allah guides, verily He is guided. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ, and whoever He misguides, فَلَمْ تَجِدْ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا, he will not find a guardian against him. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ, and you would think that they are awake, but they were in deep sleep. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them, then Allah says, وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ, and we made them move to the right and to the left. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is moving them in the sleep. وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَصِيدِ, and the dog was right at the entrance, stretching its palm outside. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you sleep on one side for a long time, there's no blood circulation, and you may even die. So they had to sleep for 309 years. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of them, that He was moving them right and left, to making sure that they survive. And there was a dog, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that there was a dog at the entrance. Why? Because this dog accompanied them when they were running to the cave. And Allah is saying that dog, which is usually looked down upon, which is lowest creation, Allah is saying even dog is elevated to that rank because of their companionship. Because they were with good people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates the rank of the dog. And He even mentions it, وَكَلْبُهُمْ, and the dog was stretching its palm right at the entrance, بِالْوَصِيدِ لَوْ طَلَعْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ, and if you were to climb up to this mountain, this cave, and if you were to see them, لَوَلَّيْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِرَارًا, you would have run back, you would have flee from it, وَلَمُلِئْتَ مِنْهُمْ رُعْبًا, you would have been filled with fear. Just looking at it, it was all dark, all you can see is the paws of the dog, stretching out, and when people would see it, they would think like a huge animal, something about to attack them, and they would run back. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects them. Look, when they stood up for Iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the creation subservient to them. Right? The sun, sun and the dog and the cave, everything is made for them, so their iman is protected. وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُم. And that is how, when we raised them, they asked each other, قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ. So one of them said, كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ. How long did you stay? قَالُوا لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ. So they said, we stayed for a day or part of a day. قَالُوا رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ. So they said, verily your Lord knows how long you said, you stayed here. So they started having an argument after they woke up. How long do we stay? And some said one day, some said no, part of a day. We just slept in the morning, we woke up in the afternoon. So Allah says, only your master knows. Leave it. فَبَعْثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ. So actually one of them says, your master knows best about it. Leave it, who cares? فَبَعْثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ بِوَرِقِكُمْ هَذِهِ. So send one of you with this silver coin إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ, to the city. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَيُّهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. And and choose the purest of food. أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. Look at that. Here we see the inner dimensions of the people of the cave, that they were looking for the pure food, and that's one of the secret of their strong iman. If you want strong iman, if you want you to have a strong iman and our kids to have strong iman, to make sure you eat the purest food, halal food, and you feed them halal food. So they are saying, go and get the best food for us, the purest and halal food. And then he says, فَلْيَأْتِكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهُ وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. And be careful. وَلَا يُشْعِرَنَّ بِكُمْ أَحَدًا. Let no one know about us. Let no one know that we are here. إِنَّهُمْ إِن يَظْهَرُوا عَلَيْكُمْ. If they come to know about you, if they know that you're here, يَرْجُمُوكُمْ. They will stone you to death. أَوْ يُعِيدُوكُمْ فِي مِلَّتِهِمْ. Or what's the worst thing that can happen? That what's worse than being killed is them reverting you to their religion. That you leaving Islam will be the worst thing. أَوْ يُعِيدُوكُمْ فِي مِلَّتِهِمْ وَلَن تُفْلِحُوا إِذًا أَبَدًا. And you will never succeed in that case. وَكَذَلِكَ عَثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ. And that is how we made them known, لِيَعْلَمُوا. So that that's how that we made them know, so that لِيَعْلَمُوا, they know that أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ, that the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true. وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا, that the hour, that there is no doubt in the hour. إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ. When they were disputing among themselves about the affair. فَقَالُوا بُنُوا عَلَيْهِمْ بُنْيَانًا. They said, build a structure over it. رَبُّهُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِهِمْ. Verily your Lord is more knowledgeable of them. قَالَ الَّذِينَ غَلَبُوا عَلَى أَمْرِهِمْ. Those people who came over them, who prevailed over them, لَنَتَّخِذَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ مَسْجِدًا. They made a place of worship over them. So what happened then? These people went, and obviously so the fear, even though 309 years have passed by, they're still thinking there's the same king ruling and all that. So they had the same fear of losing their faith. And they go, and they were actually discovered because the coins were really, really, really old. And then they were discovered, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them death right after. Right? And why? Allah says, لِيَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا. Allah wanted to show through the story that the day of judgment is true. That He can make people die, and He can resurrect. And He can bring them to life whenever He wants. And that's what happened to them. And so it's also a message for the mushrikeen of Makkah that the day of judgment is true. And what did they do? They made a masjid out of it. Instead of learning a lesson from it, what did they do? They made a masjid and started honoring these people, instead of taking a lesson and seeing that Allah has the power to give life and death. Ayah number 22. سَيَقُولُونَ ثَلَاثَةٌ رَابِعُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ. They would say that there were 3 and the 4th one was a dog. وَيَقُولُونَ خَمْسَةٌ سَادِسُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ. They would say that there were 5 people and the 6th one was the dog. رَجْمًا بِالْغَيْبِ. They're throwing stones in the unseen. That if there's dark thing and you throw stones, with the intention of hitting the target. How can I hit the target when it's all unseen? It's all dark. So it's just guessing. وَيَقُولُونَ سَبَعَةٌ وَثَامِنُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ. They say that there were 7 people and the 8th one was the dog. قُلْ رَبِّي أَعْلَمُ بِعِدَّتِهِمْ. Tell them that your master is more knowledgeable of their number. وَمَا يَعْلَمُهُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. And no one knows them except a few. Instead of learning a lesson from them, they are asking, how many people were there? Other useless details they start asking. Dog, which dog was it? What was the color of the dog? All these different questions which are completely useless. Allah is saying, Allah is directing our attention to what is important in the stories of the Quran. فَلَا تُمَارِ فِيهِمْ إِلَّا مِرَاءً ظَاهِرًا. So do not argue about them except that what is apparent. وَلَا تَسْتَفْتِ فِيهِمْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. Do not seek opinion on them. Do not seek their opinion from anybody else. وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. Do not say anything ever that إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا, that I will say I will do this tomorrow. Do not say anything. Do not say that I will do this tomorrow. إِلَّا إِن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, except inshallah, except that Allah wills. So here the Prophet ﷺ, why is this ayah coming here? Because when the mushrikeen came to the Prophet ﷺ asking those three questions, right, about the people that gave Ruh and Dhul Qarnayn, the Prophet ﷺ says, I will get back to you. And he doesn't say what? He doesn't say inshallah. So Allah, and because of that, the revelation was delayed for some time. So Allah is saying here to the Prophet ﷺ that when you say something that you will do it tomorrow, that please add inshallah, illa inshallah. وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ. Remember your Lord whenever you forget. وَقُلْ عَسَىٰ أَن يَهْدِينِ رَبِّي لِيَقْرَبَ مِنْ هَذَا رَشَدًا. Perhaps your Lord will guide you to something that is close to it in right conduct. وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. They remained in the cave for 300 years plus 9 years. So 300 solar years and 309 lunar years. وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. قُلِ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثُوا. Say that Allah is more knowledgeable as to how long they stayed. لَهُ غَيْبُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To Him belongs the unseen of the heavens and the earth. أَبْصِرْ بِهِ وَأَسْمِعْ. He is the one who sees and He is the one who hears. مَا لَهُمْ مِنْ دُونِهِ مِنْ وَلِيٌّ وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. That they don't have any protective friend besides Him, and وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا, and that He does not associate anybody in His rule. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ. Recite unto them what has been revealed to you from your Master. لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِ. None can change His words. وَلَنْ تَجِدَ مِنْ دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. And nor will you find any refuge besides Him. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. Be patient with those people who call on their Master morning and evening. بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Seeking His countenance. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ. From your eyes should not زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Desiring the worldly life. The Prophet ﷺ, he had the desire to make the leaders of Quraysh accept Islam. That if the leaders accept Islam, then what's going to happen? Then Islam will become powerful. So he would leave the people who are with him and look towards when he would get the opportunity to convey the message to the leaders of the Quraysh, he would go and give it to them. Allah saying, don't worry about them. Worry about the people who are right close to you, Ya Rasulullah. And says they want a fire. أَحَاطَ بِهِمْ سُرَادِقُهَا. Is going to cover them. It's going to encompass them in its walls and completely. وَإِن يَسْتَغِيثُوا يُغَاثُوا. And if they seek protection from it and seek water, seek help from it, يُغَاثُوا بِمَاءٍ كَالْمُهْلِ. They will be given relief and help with a boiling water. يَشْوِي الْوُجُوهِ. That will broil and melt their faces. بِئْسَ الشَّرَابِ. How bad is their drink. وَسَاءَتْ مُرْتَفَقًا. How evil is their resting place. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Verily those people who have iman and do righteous deeds, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. We will not waste the reward of those people who do righteous deeds. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ عَدْنٍ. They will have gardens of eternity. تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهِمُ الْأَنْهَارِ. They will have under which there will be rivers flowing. يُحَلَّوْنَ فِيهَا. They will be adorned with من أساور من ذهب, with bracelets of gold. ويلبسون ثيابا خضرا. And they will wear green garments. من سندس, of fine silk. وإستبرق, and brocade. متكئين فيها على الأرائك. They will be reclining on raised thrones, that raised couches and beds. متكئين فيها على الأرائك. نعم الثواب. How excellent is their reward. وحسنت مرتفقا. How beautiful is their resting place. That brings us to the end of the first story of Surah Kahf. Inshallah, we'll take a short break for Asr. We're able to survive and preserve their iman because they had good companionship, right? And so during the end of times, when you are in that situation, in times of darkness, we need young people and good companionship. right? And young people to come together, righteous people to come together and stay together. That's one thing. The other thing we see here is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you stand up and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change the laws of physics to make sure that you are safe, right? That you are protected. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes them sleep for 309 years. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bends the rays of the sun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes a cave comfortable. And all these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes that so their iman is preserved. So move on to the next story. The next test is going to be the test of wealth. So Allah begins, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثْلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ. Strike for them an example of the two men. رَجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ. For one of them we made two orchards of أعناب من أعناب وَحَفَظْنَاهُمَا بِنَخْلٍ. And we surrounded that garden with date palms. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا. And we made a cornfield right in front of it. كِلْتَا الْجَنَّتَيْنِ آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا. And each one of the orchards gave its fruits, right? It was producing its fruits. وَلَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. And it did not reduce in anything, meaning he did not miss out on any fruit. Not one fruit went waste. He made profit from every single fruit. So he was very rich. Two gardens having grapes, it's also a sign of wealth. So he had all of these things. وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهْرًا. Not only that, there was a river going from the middle. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the arrangement for water as well, that he could, the garden was, he doesn't need anybody to water the garden, but there was already a river to take care of the garden. And the way the garden was made is this like the soft plants, everything in the middle, and you had the date palms and like trees around, so it's protecting the garden from wind and all these things. وَكَانَ لَهُ ثَمَرٌ. And he had crops. فَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ. And he was فَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ. He tells his companion, وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ, as he's having a conversation, and he enters his garden with his companion and says, أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالٍ. I'm better than you. I have these, just 5 cars, they're just worth $1 million, not much, in my bank account, and I always have, 5 million, easy. He was just boasting about what he has. I'm more than you in wealth, وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا, and more powerful in terms of having manpower. وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ. And he entered his garden, وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ نَفْسِهِ, while he was wronging himself. وَقَالَ مَا ظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا. I don't think that this will ever perish, that this will ever come to an end. So he denies the day of judgment because he has so much wealth. He said, I don't think this will come to an end. وَمَا ظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. I don't think the day of judgment will come. وَلَئِن رُدِدتُّ إِلَى رَبِّي. Even if I'm returned to my master, لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. I will find better than this as my final destiny. That he starts having false hopes and denies the day of judgment. قَالَ لَهُ صَاحِبُهُ. So his companion says to him, وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُ, while talking to him, أَكَفَرْتَ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ. Did you disbelieve in the one who created you? Are you being ungrateful for the one who created you? مِن تُرَابٍ, from dust, ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ, then from a drop of liquid, ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا, then he proportioned you into a human being. لَكِنَّهُ اللَّهُ رَبِّي. As for me, he is my master. وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. I don't do shirk, I don't associate anybody with him. وَلَوْلَا. Why didn't you, when you entered, إِذَا دَخَلْتَ جَنَّةَ قُلْتَ, when you entered the garden, why didn't you say, مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ, all power, everything belongs to Allah, whatever Allah has built. What are you learning here? That when you see something good, when Allah has given you something, when you see a blessing, you say, MashaAllah. MashaAllah means whatever Allah has willed. That you give all credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing from me, whatever He has willed. MashaAllahu. La quwwata illa billah. There is no power except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In tarani, ana aqalla minka malan. If you see me that I'm less in wealth, wa walada, that I'm less in wealth and progeny, and fa'asa rabbi, it is possible that my master, and yu'tiyani khayran min jannatik, that my master will give you better than your garden. Wa yursil alayha husbana min as-sama, and it's possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends a thunderbolt on this from the sky, فَتُصْبِحَ صَعِيدًا زَلَقًا, and it becomes destroyed to the ground, and it becomes completely destroyed to the ground. أو يصبح ماؤها غورا, or its water becomes deeply becomes the water is taken out and it goes into the earth. غورا فلم تستطيع له طلبا, and you will not be able to seek it. The way you're acting, who knows, Allah's punishment will come. Don't act like this. Be grateful, be thankful for Allah has given you. And number 42, Allah says, وَأُحِيطَ بِثَمَرِ, and his crops were encompassed. فَأَصْبَحَ يُقَلِّبُ, meaning it was destroyed. فَأَصْبَحَ يُقَلِّبُ كَفَّيْهِ, so he turned his two palms. فَأَصْبَحَ يُقَلِّبُ كَفَّيْهِ عَلَى مَا أَنْفَقَ فِيهَا, he turned his palms out of grief and sadness and despair. مَا أَنْفَقَ فِيهَا, over what he has spent. وَهِيَ خَاوِيَةٌ عَلَى عُرُوشِهَا, and the garden fell on its roof, meaning the top fell, everything, the trellises and everything fell and it was destroyed. وَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي, and he said, oh woe to me, لَمْ أُشْرِكْ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا, I wish I did not do shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَمْ تَكُنْ لَهُ فِيَةٌ يَنْصُرُونَهُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, and he did not have any group helping him against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا كَانَ مُنْتَصِرًا, and he could not help himself. هُنَالِكَ الْوَلَايَةُ لِلَّهِ الْحَقِّ, or the true power and sovereignty only belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the true one. وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ ثَوَابٌ, and he is best in reward. وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ عُقْبًا, and best in consequences and punishment. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, give them the example, strike for them the example of this worldly life. كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, the example of this worldly life is like water that he has sent down from the sky. فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ, this water mixes with the vegetation of this earth. فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا, that it became fragile. تَدْرُوهُ الرِّيَاحِ, and the wind blows it. So that's the example of this life, that water comes down, there's green and everything looks beautiful, and then what happens? The leaves turn yellow and become dry, and they are blown by the wind. That is the reality of this dunya. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقْتَدِرًا, and Allah has full control over all of this. الْمَالُ وَالْبَنُونَ زِينَةُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, verily wealth and children are beautification of this dunya. These are adornments of this dunya. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ, however, the good deeds, the few good deeds, خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ, are better in the sight of your master, ثَوَابًا, as rewards, وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا, and better as hope. Right? Baqiyat, also enduring and lasting good deeds. وَيَوْمَ تُسَيِّرُ الْجِبَالِ, and the day we will make the mountain to sail. Mountains will become like dust particles, like clouds. وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ بَارِزَةً, and you will see the earth exposed. وَحَشَرْنَاهُمْ, and we will gather them. فَلَمْ نُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا, and we will not leave anyone behind. وَعُرِضُوا عَلَى رَبِّكَ صَفًّا, and all people, every single one of them, will be presented to their master in rows. لَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ, then Allah will tell them, you have come to us like the way we created you the first time. Like the way you went into this dunya alone, you have come to us all alone. فَرِيدٌ وَحِيدٌ بَلْ زَعَمْتُمْ, rather you used to assume أَلَّنْ نَجْعَلَ لَكُمْ مَوْعِدًا, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not bring you back, that there is no appointment with your master. There is an appointment, but you just neglected it. That here is the appointment, you have come face to face, and here is the meeting. وَوُضِعَ الْكِتَابِ, and then the book will be placed in front of them. فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ, the sinners will see that book, مُشْفِقِينَ, and they'll be apprehensive and they'll be scared. مِمَّا فِيهِ, in what is in it. When they know that they have messed up, they know what's inside the book is going to be really bad, so be sad for what is in it. وَيَقُولُونَ, and they will say, Ya waylatana, woe to us, ma li hadha al-kitab, what is wrong with this book? La yughadiru saghiratan wala kabiratan, it did not leave even a small thing or a big thing, illa ahsaha, except that it has recorded everything. Even that thing, I said it jokingly, even that was recorded. صغيرة and كبيرة, whatever big you have done, everything will be recorded, and you'll be like, what's wrong with this book? إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا, and they will find present in front of it whatever they have done. Whatever they have done, every single thing, ma is, it's general. That is a mawsul, it is used for general. Every single thing, whatever they have done, they will see it right in front of them. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا, and your master does not wrong anybody. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ, and remember when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ, everybody prostrated except Iblis. كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ, he was from the jinns. فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي, and he denied and he did not obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِي, and do you take him and his offsprings as your close friends besides him? Besides me, وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ, while he is your clear enemy. بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ بَدَلًا, verily What evil is the reward for the wrongdoers. ما أشهدتم خلق السماوات والأرض. I did not make them witness the creation of the heavens and the earth. ولا خلق أنفسهم, nor the creation of themselves. وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا. No, and I was not the one to mislead. I'm not the one to help the ones who are misguided. ويوم يقول نادوا شركائي الذين زعمتم. And that day he will say, call your partners, call those whom you used to call upon besides me. فدعوهم, and they will call them. فلم يستجيبوا لهم, and those partners will not respond to them. وجعلنا بينهم موبقا, and we will place and we will destroy that relationship they had. وراء المجرمون النار, and the sinful people will see the fire. فظنوا أنهم واقعوها, and they will be certain that they are going to fall into it. Just from far they will see Jahannam, and they will be certain that is Jahannam, that they are going to fall into it. وَلَمْ يَجِدُوا عَنْهَا مَصْرِفًا, and they will not find any way of escape from it. وَلَقَدْ صَرَفْنَا فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ, verily we have clarified everything in this Qur'an. لِلنَّاسِ, for people. مِنْ كُلِّ مَثَلٍ, from all kinds of examples. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ أَكْثَرَ شَيْءٍ جَدَلًا, but human being is always argumentative and dispute. وَمَا مَنَعَ النَّاسِ أَنْ يُؤْمِنُوا إِذْ جَاءَهُمُ الْهُدَى, nothing prevented the human beings from accepting the guidance when it came to them, except وَيَسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَّا تَأْتِيَهُمْ سُنَّةُ الْأَوَّلِينَ, except that what came to the people before happened to them. That when revelation, when guidance came to them, they did not accept it and did not seek Allah's forgiveness, and they disobeyed Him, and so what happened to people before happened to them, meaning destruction. أَوْ يَأْتِيَهُمُ الْعَذَابُ قُبُلًا, or they face the punishment face to face. وَمَا نُرْسِلُ الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ, and we did not send the messengers except at those who give good news and those who warn. وَيُجَادِلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, but the people who disbelieve, they argue بِالْبَاطِلِ, with falsehood, لِيُدْحِدُوا بِهِ الْحَقِّ, and they refute the truth. They try and refute, and they mix up the truth and refute the truth with falsehood. وَاتَّخَذُوا آيَاتِي وَمَا أُنذِرُوا هُزُوًا, and they take my signs and my warnings as mockery. Ayah number 57, Surah Al-Kahf. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ, and who is more wrong, مِمَّنْ ذُكِّرَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّي, who can be more wrong than the one who was reminded of the ayat of Allah, فَأَعْرَضَ عَنْهَا, then he turned away from it, وَنَسِيَ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ, and he forgot what his hands have put forward. إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكِنَّةً, we have placed a covering in their hearts, أَن يَفْقَهُوهُ, so that they don't understand it. وَفِي آذَانِهِمْ وَقْرًا, and in their ears there is deafness. وَإِن تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَى الْهُدَى, and if you call them towards guidance, فَلَنْ يَهْتَدُوا إِذًا أَبَدًا, they will never ever be guided to the straight path. وَرَبُّكَ الْغَفُورُ ذُو الرَّحْمَةِ, and your master is is most forgiving and full of mercy. لَوْ آخِذُهُمْ بِمَا كَسَبُوا, if he were to punish you for what you have done, لَعَجَّلَ لَهُمُ الْعَذَابِ, then he would have hastened the punishment for you. بَلْ لَهُمْ مَوْعِدٌ, no, but the mercy of Allah is such that He has given you an appointed time. بَلْ لَهُمْ مَوْعِدٌ لَنْ يَجِدُوا مِن دُونِهِ مَوْئِلًا, and that time no one will be able to escape from it. وَتِلْكَ الْقُرَىٰ أَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ, and those are the towns that we have destroyed before them, like the nations of Hud, Salih, we talked about. وَتِلْكَ الْقُرَىٰ أَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ لَمَّا ظَلَمُوا, when they transgressed, we destroyed them. وَجَعَلْنَا لِمَهْلِكِهِمْ مَوْعِدًا, and we have set an appointed time for their destruction as well. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى, and remember when Musa a.s. said to his slave لِفَتَاحُ لَا أَبْرَهُ حَتَّى أَبْلُغَ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ, that I am not going to cease, I'm not going to stop my traveling until I reach the Bahrain, until the two seas. There's a traveling, there's a journey that Musa a.s. took with his servant Yusha bin Nun. Bahrain aw amdiya huquba, or I go on for ages. He said, I'm going to seek this person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so Musa a.s. was with Bani Israel, and one of the person from Bani Israel said, who is the most knowledgeable? And Musa said, I am the most knowledgeable. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intervenes and says, no, Musa, there's someone who is more knowledgeable than you, and that is Khidr alayhi salam. And so he gave him some sign that you have to go to this land, the place where two seas meet, and all this. He gave him the sign, and you should take a fish with you, and when this fish shows some sign, that's where you will meet him. So he says to his servant that I'm not going to stop unless I see that place. This shows the importance of determination in traveling, in seeking knowledge. That when you seek knowledge, Even if I have to travel for ages, he says, I'm going to travel. And also when you travel for knowledge, you should have someone with you, right? A company with you. So, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَا, so when they reach مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا, the place where the two seas meet, نَسِيَ حُوتَهُمَا. What happens is the slave, he forgets the fish. The fish jumps out of the pot, and then it jumps into the sea. فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا. It took its way into the sea and makes a tunnel. Like it was so fast, goes inside, makes a tunnel almost. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا, and when they passed, so they slept. They was resting. They slept. The fish went out, and the slave forgot to mention this to Musa alayhi salam, and they just forgot and they continued their path. They were supposed to stop there. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا, when they passed by that area, قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ, Musa alayhi salam said to his servant, آتِنَا غَدَاءَنَا, bring us our breakfast, our lunch. لَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنْ سَفَرِنَا هَذَا نَصَبًا, and we are really, really tired, bring us our lunch. So that fish was also supposed to be used for lunch as well. So actually then he remembered, oh, but the fish. قَالَ أَرَأَيْتَ, he says, did you see أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا لِلصَّخْرَةِ, remember when we stopped at the sakhra, that we took a shelter near the rock, إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ, I forgot the fish over there, وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا شَيْطَانٌ, and no one made me forget except shaitan, and أَذْكُرَ, to remember, to mention it. I was supposed to mention that the fish escaped at that spot, but I forgot. So وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا, it took its path into the sea, and فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا, and I was surprised to see that. قَالَ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِ, so Musa says, that is exactly what we were seeking. فَارْتَدَّ عَلَى آثَارِهِمَا قَصَصًا, so they traced their footsteps back to that place. فَوَجَدَا عَبْدًا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا, so both of them, they found a servant from our servants. The first quality of Khidr alayhi salam, Allah says, Abdan min ibadina. He was a servant. What are we learning here? That knowledgeable person was Abd of Allah. That more knowledge you want, you have to show that you're Abd of Allah. That you humble yourself. In tattaqullah yaj'al lakum furqan. Wattaqullah wa yu'allimukum Allah. Right? You show to Allah that you are Abd of Allah, servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will give you knowledge. So Allah says, Abdan min ibadina. They found a servant from our servants. آتِينَاهُ رَحْمَةً مِنْ عِنْدِنَا, we gave him mercy from us. وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِنْ لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا, and we taught him a special knowledge from us. Always in the Quran, ilm is connected with rahmah. Ilm and rahmah are always connected. Ar-Rahman alam al-Quran. Right? So in this ayah, we see the same thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him from His mercy. قَالَ لَهُ Musa. So Musa alayhi salam said to his teacher, Khidr alayhi salam, هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا? Can I follow you so that you can teach me from what you have been taught? The way Musa speaks is that, can you teach me from something, not you know, from something you are taught? He's giving credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can I follow you? He's seeking his permission. قَالَ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. The teacher looks at the student and says, you will not have patience. Right? You won't be a patient person. And he kind of recognizes, because a teacher can make out the capacity of the student. And so he says, وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطُ بِهِ خُبْرًا. And it says, how can you have patience over things that you don't have the knowledge, you don't encompass? This is beyond yourself. And it says, قَالَ, Musa says, قَالَ سَتَجِدُنِي إِنشَاءَ. He says inshallah. Allah is teaching Prophet ﷺ, look, he says inshallah, so you should also say that. Satajiduni, surely, inshallah, if Allah wills, sabiran, I will be patient. وَلَا أَعْصِي لَكَ أَمْرًا, and I will not disobey your command. Here we see that he says inshallah, but he still makes a mistake. So what we see here is that just because you say inshallah, this will happen, doesn't mean it will happen. But you just have to say it. Right? If Allah wants it will happen, is don't say that it should happen. It may happen if Allah wills, the condition. So وَلَا عَصِي لَكَ أَمْرًا, I will not disobey you. قَالَ فَإِنِ اتَّبَعْتَنِي. So then Khidr alayhi says, sure, if you follow me, إِنِ اتَّبَعْتَني, if you want to follow me, فَلَا تَسْأَلْنِي عَنْ شَيْءٍ. The condition is you should not ask me for anything I do. Right? You have to quietly observe everything. حَتَّى أُحْدِثَ لَكَ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا, until I tell you what I was doing. فَانْطَلَقَ. So Musa agrees and they continue. فَانْطَلَقَ. They depart and they continue. حَتَّى إِذَا رَكِبَ فِي السَّفِينَةِ. When they boarded on a ship, what happened? خَرَقَهَا. He breaks that ship. He cracks that ship. قَالَ أَخَرَقْتَهَا. So he continued. فَانْطَلَقَا حَتَّى إِذَا لَقِيَا غُلَامًا. Until they came across a servant. right? A young boy. فَقَتَلَ Khidr goes ahead and kills him. فَقَتَلَ قَالَ قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ Did you kill a pure soul? Musa speaks up. بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا You have done something really, something strange. Nukra, I've never seen this. What is this? And then قال ألم أقل Khidr says, did I tell you ألم أقل لك? Now he has laka to show his anger. Did I tell you how, لإنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا, that you will not have patience with me? I told you this. And then so Musa says, قال إن سألتك عن شيء بعدها It's the last warning. If I ask you after this, if I ask you for anything after this, فَلَا تُصَاحِبِنِي Don't accompany me. فَقَدْ بَلَغْتَ مِنْ لَدُنِّي عُذْرًا You have indeed attained from me an excuse that you have. That's a final warning, and I will not do it again. فَانْطَلَقَ If I do it, then we can depart. So فَانْطَلَقَ So they continued their journey, and then what happened? حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَيَا أَهْلَ قَرْيَةٍ اسْتَطْعَمَا أَهْلَهَا فَأَبَوْا Until they came across the people of the village. They came across a village, and they both of them were asking for some food, right? They're asking some food. They were travelers. In those days, every town is welcoming and hospitable to the travelers. They asked for some food. فَأَبَوْا Those people rejected. They refused to give any food. So they were leaving that city. Then أَيُّضَيِّفُهُمَا They were not good hosts to them. فَوَجَدَ فِيهَا جِدَارًا يُرِيدُ أَن يَنْقَضَّ فَأَقَامَ So as Khidr was leaving, he saw that there was a wall that's about to fall, and he fixes that wall and makes sure that it doesn't fall. And then Musa speaks up. قَالَ لَوْ شِئْتَ لَنْتَخْتَ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا If you want, you could have taken some reward for it. Like, these people are so bad, they didn't give you any food, and now you're fixing the wall. You should have get some money for doing this. And then Khidr says, قَالَ هذا فراق بيني وبينك This is it. This is the time for us to part. We are not going to be together. But سأنبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا But before we part, before we separate, I will tell you of the things that I have done. I'll tell you why I did what I did. First one, he says, أما السفينة As for the ship فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر This ship, it belonged to poor people, very, very poor people who are working in the sea. Their job was to just pick up people and drop them. They're really people, their life depended on this. They were hand to mouth, didn't have enough money. They used to work in the sea. And فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهَا I wanted to make the ship deficient, make a hole in the ship, because وَكَانَ وَرَاءَهُمْ مَلِكٌ Just across the, as soon as you turn, as soon as you turn in the sea, what happened is there is a king, يَأْخُذُ كُلَّ سَفِينَةٍ غَصْبًا There's a tyrant king, which was, the tyrant king was taking away all the good ships, right? So what I wanted is to make that ship deficient, so when the king sees the ship, it's already deficient, it's already broken, it will let the ship go, and these people can pass that area and then fix their ship and use it for later, right? So this is wisdom that only he can understand. That's why. Apparently from this side, you see, this is wrong. But if you just know a bit more, a little bit more, you understand this is the best thing he could have done. And then the second thing, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامِ As for the boy, فَكَانَ أَبُوَاهُ مُؤْمِنَيْنِ His parents were believers. فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا His parents were righteous, okay? And فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا We feared that this boy, when he grows up, he's going to hurt their parents and will be a means of them causing transgression and becoming disbelievers. That when this kid grows up, he's going to be a fitna for the parents, and the parents will leave Islam because of him. فَأَرَدْنَا So we intended أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا رَبُّهُمَا خَيْرًا مِنْهُ زَكَاةً That their master should replace this boy with a better one, who is zakatan, who is pure, وَأَقْرَبَ رُحْمًا and closer in affection, who is going to be a righteous child and is going to take the parents into Jannah. Now this child, him dying, is not a big deal at this point, because he's going to go to Jannah because he's still a child, right? And they have no hisab. He goes to Jannah, and the parents are also preserved because they got a new son, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless them. So when we see kids dying in dunya, when we see where is an atheist, all these people, even Muslims question, where is the Rabb? Where is the master? Why are innocent people being killed? And Allah knows the wisdom behind it. Allah wants them to go to Jannah. That's why young people die, so that they have no hisab, their account is clear, they go to Jannah. right? Or we don't know what's coming ahead. Maybe this was the best thing that could have happened. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that's why, Khidr says, that's why this happened. And then he explains the third thing. وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارُ As for the wall, فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ It belonged to two orphan boys in the city, right? وَكَانَ تَحْتَهُ كَنْزٌ لَهُمَا And behind this wall, there is their treasure, the treasure of the orphans. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا Allahu Akbar. That their parents were righteous. These two orphans, their treasure was behind the wall, and these two kids, the orphan kids, their parents were righteous. So فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَنْ يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُمَا So their Lord wanted that they reach the age of maturity, وَيَسْتَخْرِجَ كَنْزَهُمَا And take out their treasure, رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ As a mercy from the Lord. If the wall fell, then the treasure would have been obvious, and the people have stole, and the orphans are still young. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I fix the wall so that the treasure can be preserved until they get older and get it. وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِي I did not do this on my own accord. ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلٌ That is interpretation. مَا لَمْ تَصْدِعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا That is a thing which you were not able to have patience over with. Right? So it's a big lesson for us. That when you see anything that happens in life that is apparently bad, from outside it looks bad, know that it is the best thing for you. Whether that's losing a child, whether that's seeing something that is supposed to be bad, but apparently it's actually good, right? And when you see your ship being damaged, or something bad happens to you, go through an accident, you go through some harm in your life, know that that's the best thing that could have happened, because only Allah knows the wisdom behind all of these things. And even Musa was not able to have patience over it. And these are some of the unseen. And the Prophet says, if Musa did not question, if he was patient, then Allah would have unveiled a lot of unseen realities to us. Right? But alhamdulillah, these three things are not enough. So we have the final story left in Surah Kahf. We'll do that inshallah tomorrow. We'll finish Surah Kahf. Sorry for going over. It doesn't make sense to start the story and just stop in the middle. So alhamdulillah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdihi ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhanallah bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Allahumma lakal hamdu wa anta nuru samawati wal ardi wa ma fihin. Wa lakal hamdu anta qayyimu samawati wal ardi wa man fihin. Wa lakal hamdu anta al-haqqu wa wa'duka al-haqqu wa qawluka al-haqqu wa liqa'uka al-haqq wal jannatu haqqu wan naru haqq was sa'atu haqqu wan nabiyyuna haqqun wa Muhammadun haqq. اللهم لك أسلمنا وعليك توكلنا وإليك نبنا وبك خاصمنا وإليك حاكمنا فاغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أسررنا وما أنت أعلم به منا أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر لا إله إلا أنت سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.